I would like to talk to you about one of my experiences, something that came to me, and like I told you all, that I have experiences with spirits that have gone to the other side, and I wanted to talk about this particular experience that disturbed me, and it disturbed me a lot because it involved a child. But anyway, I was in this large house, and it was a foreclosure. And I went to that house with a group of people, and when I went to the house, we were noticing how historical the house was and how nice the house was. I don't know where this place was, but it had a lot of houses, and it was like on this hill, and a lot of them were foreclosures. A lot of people had moved out, and so we were looking at some of the nice features of the house, and I liked the back because in the backyard there was this huge swimming pool on a deck, and it was covered, and I thought that was really cute, and I liked that. It was kind of like getting dark, but I noticed that every time I went in the back, I could hear a child's voice calling out, and it sounded like this. It said, "But I wanted to go to school, and I wanted to learn and get my education," is what I heard. And so what I did, I didn't want to hear it because it was frightening, the voice, because I knew that, excuse me, the voice was coming from the other side. The way to know whether or not the voice is coming from the other side, it comes from no particular direction. In other words, whereas someone can whisper my name or call me, I may hear it from the left or the right, or I may hear it from a distance. It's different when it's a spirit voice because it comes from no direction. You can't really pinpoint exactly whether it's from the left, the right, or from a distance. If that makes any sense at all. Some of you may have had the experience. Anyway, I was frightened to go in the back because every time the sound grew closer and closer. So I like to hang around the front and look around the house. And what was so funny, a friend of mine was there. And this friend of mine, what happened to her, she had to go up north to Cincinnati because her husband was threatened to kill her. So she had to run for her life and go to Cincinnati and take her 2 children. But since then, she has came back down here to Alabama and stuff. And I'm glad to know that she's back safe and sound. But she still has to have a low profile, her and her children, for safety purposes. I'm sorry. But anyway, for some reason, she was there also, and I could hear her on she said she was on the 5th floor, but the house only had 3 floors. And I could hear her, calling me, and from time to time, I would call her and ask her what she's doing, and she said she's checking out the 5th floor. For some reason, she never came out from on the 5th floor, and I never saw her, I only heard her voice. But anyway, as I continued to tour the house, something kept, beckoning me to go out to the back. So it was always a reason to have to go to the back, like I had to put something out on the back porch or something like that. Something kept, calling me back to the back. And each time I'd go, the voice would get closer and closer, But I wanted to go to school, and I wanted to get my education. The last time that I went to the back, the spirit actually manifested itself. It was about a 5-year-old little girl. She looked like she was Mexican, and she had a part in her head, center of her head, with a ponytail here and here. And she came to me, and she kept telling me she wanted to go to school, and she wanted to get her education. By that time, she had blood to appear on the front of her dress, and her clothes began to wrinkle. She actually pulled her dress up, and she showed me her vagina, and it was mutilated, and it was bleeding, and she looked like somebody had did something really terrible with her. And she kept telling me that she wanted to go to school, and she wanted to get her education. So then by that time, this child was just covered in blood, and I was very frightened. because she would not leave me alone. Out of everybody, she kept, in behind me. She didn't walk, she glide. She was like a glide. It was like her feet was off the ground so many inches, and she actually just moved sort of like, this, like, and that frightened me. By that time, I told her, I am very frightened of you. Could you please leave me alone? And by that time, she was crying, and she wanted to tell me what happened to her. And she told me that her daddy hurt her. Her daddy hurt her, And I asked her, I said, well, who's your daddy? Who's your dad? And she kept telling me to find him, find him. This is what my daddy did to me. And so I wanted to share that with you all, because it laid very heavy on me, because I didn't have anything, I didn't know of anything that I could do to help the child, because I don't know if, is she a past entity, or is she an entity, something is occurring presently, or something to come. So it's really difficult to discern these things, and I'm still learning and working with being able to discern these particular spirits. But I thought I'd bring that up to you and just share it with you. And if you all have had some experiences like that, please share them. Okay. Thank you, family.